been a roller coaster, and here's where we're at now. Hey, what's up? I'm Ken. This is kenfuTV, and each week I make videos in the martial arts, philosophy, training, technique, and that sort of thing. This week, talking about what's happening in my dojo. Ken Learns Kenfu, that's what this is. This is my chance to reflect, and as I think about things and go through things in my training, and in this case, in just the dojo itself, this is my opportunity to just kind of talk about that and kind of chronicle what that looks like. If you're new here, glad you made it. Excited to have you. Hope that you choose to subscribe while you're down there. Drop a comment, let me know how you found me. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. But so let's jump into it. 2020, the year of crazy, wild, unfortunate events. This has been an interesting year. A lot of people talked a lot about 2019 just being absolutely crazy and just ready to put it to bed when the new year rolled around. And I didn't necessarily have a lot of that, but I can definitely say 2020, there is no joke. It's no joke. So quick background, when I first started training in this school, which was really outside of a 3-month jaunt in a school in Alabama, this is the only place I've really trained as far as consistently over long term. Found this place back in 2006. It was easy to remember because it was Halloween. It was October 31st. I've been training there. It was Seoshorin-ryu Karate School. Been training there ever since. To the point that a few years ago, I took over the school and I continued to teach and train, continued to train with my instructor and all of that. And for this whole time, we've been inside of an athletic club, a local athletic club that's been here since like the 70s, 80s. It's been here a long time, part of this area for a long time. When I first came, we had a shared space. It was an aerobic room that we'd get to take over after their classes, spin classes and different things. That was always interesting. So those classes usually ran long, so we're usually sitting outside warming up in the hallway. We'd sometimes pick glass out of our feet and stuff like that because people were wearing their shoes and stuff for those other classes, and so we'd sweep, so it was an interesting time, and that's how those old karate days went anyway, right? Eventually we moved from that shared space to a private space. It was just a dedicated space, which was inside of an old racquetball court. The floor had gotten messed up from a leak in the roof, and they decided that it'd be cheaper to let us throw down some plywood, put some mats down, and make it our own. So we cut a bigger door, since racquetball doors are really short, and we put down the plywood, put down the mats. We had somebody paint a mural, which was really, really cool. It's off of, Seoshorin-ryu was founded by Dan Housel, and one of his sketches, that was one of the things that we put up as a mural, and the dojo had it there for a long, long time. Different things, had it all set up. We trained there up until a couple years ago. The school continued to grow, and, we got up to about 100 or so students, and we ended up moving into, in this particular club, the basketball court was not well used, so they ended up letting us take over half the basketball court. They had a half court that they could use, and then we put up a wall and resurfaced the floor and painted a new mural, and it was just a whole thing that we did that created just a new space dedicated to what we do, showing the growth of what's happening. Beautiful wooden floor. The mural turned out amazing. Really, really cool. It was hard to see the old mural go down. It got painted over and converted back to a racquetball court, but we had a new space. It was bigger. We were holding multiple classes at a time. Really, really cool, but the club wasn't doing well. So time went on. Things were challenging. This year has not been a good year financially. The club was in a hard spot. We weren't seeing any of the money. The club eventually went into bankruptcy. We continued to train. We found out about the bankruptcy during this COVID-19 quarantine, where we had already kind of moved to online training. We were training online using Google Classroom, and I've got a video here that you can see kind of what we were doing, Zoom lessons, all that kind of stuff. And so we continued to do that. And then in the meantime, got noticed that the club was going into bankruptcy, and we didn't know what that looked like. We knew they owed us a lot of money. We knew that we were scraping by, and we had just committed to some leases on some new equipment and some different things, and that was a big challenge. A lot of fear, a lot of turbulence while we tried to figure out what this looks like. The other day, we got the news that the bankruptcy wasn't going to go through, and that the club was going to shut down permanently. Kind of a big deal. Like I said, this club's been here for decades, part of this town. I mean, since 2006, at the end of every day, I'd leave work and I'd drive to this club. I'm still probably going to autopilot there for a while just because I'm used to doing that every day. Just go. I joked sometimes that I was one of the longest running people in that club You know, when it came to the employees, I wasn't an employee of the club, but they treated me like one. They treated me like a manager of the dojo, which was a part of the club. And so I always joked that I was one of the longest running employees in there, but I didn't actually work there. And so it's just gonna be weird. You know, that was a big hit, realizing that was gonna be closed. Suddenly we're going, how do we get all of our stuff out? Where are we gonna put our stuff? You know, this is a real thing, and this is a thing that people are going through all over. Different instructors that I know have run into places where they're closed down their schools and they're teaching out of their garages, and some places are closing permanently, and I don't know if they're continuing to teach or not. I just know that they closed. COVID-19 has had a really huge impact on the martial arts. You take a contact thing, and then you take away the contact, and it becomes really difficult to teach. People can only do so many online classes when it comes to, you know, if they're kids or college and that kind of thing, and they're doing Zoom classes for everything, or they're doing Zoom classes for work, and they're Zoom, and then you get to the end, and then it's time to go jump on your Zoom class for your martial arts. You know, people are just getting burnt out on that. But it's the reality of where we're at. Some places are able to start opening back up. Some places aren't. You know, they're still a ways away, and they're still having to do that. Just all over the world, it just looks different everywhere. So my heart goes out to the people that are struggling with this, to the people who have closed down their schools, who have lost their students, who are training out of their garages, and whatever it is. My heart goes out to you because I know what that feels like, kind of. And I say that because if there's anything the martial arts has taught me, it's taught me to never give up. You just don't ever give up. There's always an answer. There's always a solution. You got to work to it, because the only thing that stops you is you stopping you. And so for us, we were able to find another place. We were fortunately able to get into a place that had a low enough rent that if we paid out of our own pocket, we could sign the lease and get this place going. You know, we hadn't solved the dojo income riddle yet, but we were able to go, okay, we've got some money set aside. We believe in this. We can try to make this happen. So sign the leases, change the insurance, do all the stuff that you got to do, and get it started. So while this is a sad video, it's sad to me. I'll be honest, it was incredibly emotional moving things out and sweeping the dojo floor for the last time, and that, you know, it was really hard. We had made those adjustments, and we hadn't even been in that new space with the new wall up and the new mural up for a year yet. I had so many ideas for this channel, the Ken Shares Kenfu. A lot of that was going to be filmed with the mural in the background right there in our dojo. It was just, I was really excited about it. And, you know, it was a place that we were building. It was the first place that was truly 100%. We were building it as ours. And now it's just gone. Just like that, it's just gone. So this is sad and this is emotional, but we don't quit. As martial artists, you have to choose what is able to stop you. And if you can choose, even for a little bit, that nothing can stop you, and you push forward to find just that next step, not what the future looks like, but just what's that next step, you can do it. And maybe that's training out of your garage. Right now, we're training out of a park. We did get the place. With the restrictions, we're leery to start moving indoors yet, especially because it's a smaller place, and having people separated, spread out the way that we're supposed to, and that sort of thing is not easy. So we're training in the park, you know, but parks are out there. You know, you train in your garage, you know, there are things that you can do to keep things going. And so you don't ever want to give up. You know, right now where we're at is we're starting a new chapter. While that was really sad, and especially sad for me because that's where I have come from, you know, a lot of the students, you know, this is a new opportunity for them. This is a new opportunity for me to build something where, you know, we did have things that were based on the club itself. How did the club handle billing? We actually did a revenue sharing, so the club was handling billing. You know, they had their own locker rooms, they had all this stuff. It's all us now. On some ways, that's scary because suddenly that's way more cost. You know, the beauty of revenue sharing is that no matter how few students sign up, you know that you have a place to train. You know, now that's flipped. Now, we had a good number of students, and the response has been really well from everybody. I think that we're going to be okay getting everybody back in, or at least a good chunk of those people. Hopefully everybody's still excited, but you have to be realistic, because just because the dojo is starting to have the ability to train again doesn't mean that the economic impact for everybody who are members or students in the dojo has been the same too. So if they just can't afford it, they just can't afford it. And so we try to see what we can do, because I never want money to be a reason why somebody doesn't train. And so we've worked really hard, but we've also increased expenses and all of this stuff. And so it's a big juggling thing that you have to work. And it's certainly increased my workload and the things that I have to do. And I could tell you my EIN number off the top of my head now, because I've had to give it to so many people to do utilities and insurance and all this stuff. But it's worth it. Every little bit is worth it when it continues moving towards your goal. So in the martial arts, every day you come in and you do the same kicks, the same blocks, the same punches, the same stances, the same katas, the same whatever. But it's getting you there. Little by little, it's getting you there. And this is no different. We have to take the lessons that we have in the dojo and pass those on and say, a little by little, I found a place I can start talking to them. We actually ended up finding like 5 places, 3 that I really liked, and 1 that we ultimately ended up saying yes to. Through that, we built a great relationship with the 2nd place. We built an even better relationship with the 3rd place, which was another gym, which we're going to have some building relationships for people to go get a gym membership and the gym people to come train with us. All these things are opportunities that they don't exist if you don't explore them. You've got to go do it. Now we're going to be behind a rock climbing gym. Well, rock climbing and jiu-jitsu and different things like that go really well together. So now we can see what kind of relationships we can build with the people near us. And maybe we are more available to people because the new location, maybe it's a better location for people to it. It makes it easier for them to make it with their schedules and all that. Every piece is an opportunity. And when you treat it like an opportunity, it can become real. And right now, I'm invigorated. We have a new location. It's perfect. There's other things you could do. Sure. I've watched videos. I was looking at ideas of how we could make it look or different things by looking at dojo tours on YouTube. And man, some places have amazing dojos with amazing everything, different, the way they handle their locker rooms or their pro shops or all their different stuff, the training areas and all that. There's so many different ways people have done it, and it's just so cool to see. And is it all that? No. Is it some 3-story building with things happening on different floors and stuff? No. It's small. It's like 750 square feet, and we still have to store stuff in there. But it's ours. It's a place that we can train. It's a place that we can make our home. We have some opportunities to expand it, actually, to make it closer to 1,800 square feet, which is awesome. But at the end of the day, it's ours. We get to decide how it goes next. We get to decide how we want to embrace it and how we want to go forward. And because of that, how could this ever be bad? Right? So, do I know what it looks like? No. I have no idea how many people are going to choose to sign up. How many people are going to be in a position where they can. How many people are going to want to shift or do whatever. I don't know what people will do. All we can do is communicate and be open and let people know what's going on and what our intention is, and just try to fire people up with our passion. But I've got a good feeling. And I believe that this is going to be good. And I believe that people love what we do and why we do it. And I think it's going to be great. So if COVID-19 has gone pretty uneventful for you and things are going great, that's so amazing. And I wish you continued success, because that's awesome. That means you probably jumped on the Zoom wagon and all that stuff early, and your stuff translated well and you did great, and that's so cool. And I've watched people do that, and I think it's amazing. If you're struggling and you don't know where things are going, keep your head up, because it's not over yet. Take that Yamato Damashi, that never say die attitude, and keep going. And if you've had to go through things where you're shutting places down and you're training out of your garage, or maybe you're not even training because you don't even know what to do yet, keep your head up. It's not over yet. There are people who care about what you do. There are people who can help. And you know what? I want to offer that to you too. If I can help, I've gone through a bunch of stuff now, and I certainly don't have all the answers, but if you just need somebody to talk to, comments, my email, I'll drop it. It's down there too. Reach out. I'm more than happy to do anything I can to help, because this is a hard time and we get through it together. That's how this works. We need each other. And if you don't have somebody, maybe now you have me. But let's just keep working forward. Keep your head up, and we can do this. We're gonna survive this. We're gonna continue to make sure that martial arts has a place in this world. We're gonna continue to make sure that these schools and places that build self-confidence and self-esteem in our children and even in our adults continue to be around. And it's worth it. And even though sometimes it's a struggle, and sometimes you just wonder why you're doing it, it is worth it, and it is making a difference. Don't stop. That's it. Please, if this is something that speaks to you and you need to talk about it, hit me up. If you're new here and you like this kind of videos, or you want to see what I'm doing or how this goes in the future, be sure to subscribe. Make sure you like this video, drop any comments in there if you want to do that while you're down there. There's another video here that you might like and a couple more that you might also like. So I'll catch you in the next one.